Okay, hello and welcome to the Kite Dev blog. Doing a piece today on, well, what's changed, what I've updated. A lot of art, a lot of tricky system work, adding new systems, new objectives, change the control scheme around, just making it a little bit more user-friendly, although it's still not in its final form. I've got the loot system set up differently. I'm just going to show off some of the gameplay here. Gone ahead and got myself up to level 40 something before starting, just so you can see some of the late game power. This is my current newest level. It's prototype, but it's getting atmosphere I'm looking for pretty good. Finally starting to really flesh out the environment. As you can see, I've got some tricky plants doing some weird stuff here. I actually managed to get a sort of depth three-dimensional trick going for my taller objects. So you can see the leaves on the bamboo, they move kind of in relationship to where the camera is. They'll move up and down on the bamboo, and it just kind of fools the eye into thinking there's more depth than there really is here. It actually took a lot of work. It's more obvious on this guy here, the big solar tree, which is looking pretty fine, although that's just a temporary for the leaves. But you can see how the leaves will move according to the camera separately from the base, and it adds that trick 3D look. But you can see the density here is really going up. It's just looking more and more fleshed out and less empty. Still a lot of emptiness on this map. It's a big map. Got this track graphic which I made. I still need to do the starting blocks, but just sort of a instant go-to for running people around in a circle. It's really intuitive to get the basic gameplay idea running around the track. Let's see. So, some cool new systems. Let's see. I've added this toggle. You can see the outline of my character switch, and so it switches between a defensive melee style, which is white, which gives you more armor, some more strength, to a DPS oriented range type. You lose out on that armor, but you've got extra damage. Great for kiting and powering up your grenades, getting lots of munitions down the way at the target. So let's see, where was I? Environmental tricks, that's really been just absorbing me. Been having a lot of fun with that. The gameplay is pretty unchanged. Done a lot of just cleanup, always cleaning up little errors, little inconsistencies in the enemies. I got these damage numbers fixed up so they're color coordinated. You can really see what you're doing damage with, and it differentiates quite nicely when you're taking hits versus dealing them. So whenever you take damage, it's red, and then according to what you hit them with, it's different colors. I've got these upgrades going right now. So spider grenades, those drop into these little grenades. This is the split rail gun that I've upgraded. Actually got another one for that. And so when it hits a target, it splits now. And those can also split. So it's actually quite a bit of DPS if you get a good train going. Comboing my big ammo cooldown with this aura, extra damage, lots of ammunition. Really starting to get some cool gameplay dynamics where you're kind of fighting, you're kiting, you're waiting for a cooldown, you're waiting for some energy to come back, and then when it does, you capitalize big time by switching your aura, by switching your weapon. You know, you gotta slow the enemies. Shotgun slows them. The ion cannon slows them. It really helps you kite, and that's just adding tools. I've got a dash going now, where if you double tap in the direction you want, and it's on cooldown, or it's not on cooldown, then you can dash. And you see that animation turns kind of red. It's just a filler sprite for now. You know, just all kinds of little details. You really got to play it to see it all. I have actually managed to get some work done on sort of the professional design part, where I actually make an application and I can install it on your computer now, so I can trade the game around and let my friends have it for a while and play their version I give them, and not just when they're over here, stuff like that. So that's all good news. But you know, I'd say that I'm just overall really happy with the environment changes. I feel like this roof level is starting to get enough different assets that it's really looking more and more fleshed out. I've got a new way of doing all the textures for the background that's just way better. I can go super detailed and custom. I make them all in GIMP, which is Photoshop. This entire level is actually just 6 tiles for the background that I do everything that's underneath your character on. And that makes it so that I can copy paste huge swaths of texture patterns and just customize them individually. It's huge boost to my build process. I can work on this level now really easily. And then the only things I have to add are stuff that pops up. So like these bushes, you know, the trees, with the background, the track, the water, the concrete, that's all just one plane. So it's a really big help. Little things like that, probably nothing super exciting. Some updates for all the sort of quality of life. The explosions are looking better. Worked a lot on the controls so that you don't get stuck. You know, little things you wouldn't notice just from necessarily watching these updates, but I think you will notice these explosions are looking pretty awesome. It's a cool trick that I actually learned from watching some other video game explosions over and over, trying to sort of reverse engineer how they were doing their animations. So I made one little mushroom cloud animation that you can see, like when I hit with a rocket, you get this mushroom cloud. And then when I want it to look like a big explosion, I just spawn several of them in a 360-degree pattern, and you get a much more circular and bigger looking explosion. And then I've got the shrapnel coming out of it, so there you go, boom. And sort of having little smoke trails, so that just exciting. Things are blowing up finally, for reals. Let's see. So the these are these little bright shiny things. It's kind of your basic resource. They drop when enemies die. They're sometimes scattered on the ground. They give you XP. Then there's also these scrap units that come out of the enemies that you can pick up, and there's 2 different types. The ones that are glowing, like these here, they're worth more. Then up here is your scrap, and you have to spend scrap every time you die. At least that's how it's going right now, to like recreate your little droid that you're controlling here. And so that's a resource that you want to keep collecting, and eventually that'll be used for stuff like new weapons and armor. Then you've got solar, which you can see up here, and that's created by these trees. Now the trees can be attacked by enemies, when they're nearby, and they start siphoning off your solar and lowering your efficiency on your tree. So you gotta sort of defend them. This map has got several trees just for experimentation, so I'm not exactly short on solar, but you need a certain level of solar to get the high level upgrades, the rank 3s and the rank 2s. I'm just running around. I haven't actually been doing the objectives because I wanted to show you guys the gameplay here, but the idea is that you want to stand on these spawners and get them to go away. And then eventually you get them all to go away, and then you cleared the map, basically. And the idea will be at that point you get to go into here. Okay, this is my pause menu. We got a mock-up of the student menu, and so this will be where you can browse the different NPCs that are living in your institution. This is just a mock-up. Doesn't actually work yet, but you'll be able to check their different stats and talents and completion levels and schedules and make some choices. This will be your upgrade menu, just like every other game you ever saw. You know, first tier, second tier, third tier. Takes 2 in this one to get to this one, etc. And they'll be separate for, you know, energy, munitions, defensive, utility, 4 different ones, I think. And then these upgrades that I've been getting, like the split rail and the spider mine, or the spider grenades, those will be ones that you actually get out of basically like enchantments or like a module slot for your weapons, where you can put different upgrades on your specific weapons. But the tech path will be just general, so stuff like, you know, just more ammunition over time, or more armor penetration for ammunition weapons, not weapon specific. Whereas these are all very, you know, the double swords that adds to, those are all weapon specific ones. So those will be ones you unlock with, you know, different research paths and different item finds and stuff like that. Whereas the talents will be more basic, you know, extra crit, extra this, extra armor, bonus to hit after doing this, that sort of a thing. Anyway, back to trying to actually beat this level. Just gotta clear out enough room to actually kill one of the spawners. And I just upgraded to my point defense system, which will shoot down missiles. So that saves me some damage. Now if I were actually hard, I'd be switching auras when I use my sword, because it gets a big strength boost when I'm in this defensive aura. So you shut down the spawners. There's a certain number of them. They will come back after a while. They also level up over time and start spawning nastier enemies. These guys, for instance, the rail droids who shoot rail guns, and these guys, the slice bots, they don't come out unless they're rank 4 spawners. So those are totally maxed out, just because I've been standing around yapping. So that's why I'm fighting so many tough dudes right now. So they can also shoot down grenades and missiles, and it's sometimes hard to get them through, but if you spam enough at once, you can get them. So basically you just gotta stay on the move. You gotta always be watching your resources, using the weapon that's best for the job, slowing enemies, you know, watching your different resources. I already said that, but like your global ones, like your solar, and you know, eventually there'll be research levels based on how your NPCs are doing, and you gotta make sure that they're being as efficient as possible. So yeah, that's how that goes. And I'm just going to try to finish this level out and hope you guys enjoy. Keep dying though. Spawners over here. As you keep moving back and forth, the railgun droids have a tough time with you. I'm getting pretty powerful though. I can start one-shotting people with my sword. But enemies do scale up, so their hit points goes up considerably as you level, but your damage just goes up so much when you multiply, you know, all the different weapons you can use at once times your small additional bonus in damage every level. It really makes a big difference. But I am still dying. Nice direct hit. Just upgrading, still upgrading. Can't even see what I've upgraded anymore because I only go to 11 with these little icons down here. Oh, there's apples that help you, little energy apples. The apple trees drop them constantly, and if you pick them up, you get a little bit of experience and a little bit of energy back. So it kind of makes it fun when you're fighting around an apple tree, a little extra boost. Added some sounds. They're not super fancy. One of them is actually just the Pac-Man sound chopped up into 4 sections when he eats a power pill. Why? Because why not? You know, it's the perfect noise. And it's free. So I can see I've got one spawner left somewhere. And it shows up here, let's see. One spawner, 7 enemies. As soon as I get that spawner down, we'll be out of here. But where is it? There she glows. Good shot. And 3 enemies. Where are enemies? So I haven't finished this level. It looks kind of weird. There we go. There's one. And my idea is actually to have it so that wherever the mouse is, you get a transparent effect on the foreground images, so you can see behind the stuff when you need to. Right now it's definitely a problem that you go behind like this big guy here and you can't see yourself at all. But my fix is going to be that where you put your mouse, there'll be an area around your mouse that's semi-transparent, so you can look around behind stuff, but you're not always able to see behind. Kind of a compromise. And yeah, one enemy left, but God knows where he's at. Nah. Boom. And we're done. So that's pretty much that whole level. And that's my update. See you next time.